In this video, we're going to be doing an easy DIY install and go from this boring concrete floor to this nice laminate flooring. Let's go. Let's go over the materials and tools that you'll need for this installation. Starting with the moisture barrier for underneath your laminate flooring, cutter, tape to connect your moisture barrier together, jigsaw or plank cutter, hammer or mallet for connecting your planks, and your laminate flooring planks. Let's start by clearing the work area and remove any unnecessary tools or materials that will get in the way during this installation. Make sure your work area is well lit, as good visibility will ensure that you're able to see any defects or imperfection during this installation. To avoid squeaking or clicking noises after installation, make sure that your subfloor are dry and clean. Sometimes, it's impossible to eliminate the noise and squeaking completely, but we can minimize this risk by ensuring there's no debris, soil, mud, or any other objects adhering to the floor. After clearing the area and thoroughly cleaning the floors, grab your tape measure and start measuring the area for your flooring. This step is critical for finding the quantities of planks you'll need for this installation. To plan the layout for your laminate flooring, start by drawing the perimeter room similar to the green lines on this illustration. After this, plan the first 3 rows of your layout. For a cleaner and more uniform look, I suggest using a full plank in your first row. Then use half of the first plank for your second row, and then half of that for your third row. Continue planning your layout, making sure you have at least 6 inches as a minimum length. This step can be done as simple as pen and paper. I'm just showing this as an illustration. After measuring your installation area and planning your layout, let's now go ahead and prep the planks to the room surrounding. This is a very important step to make sure that the planks are acclimated to the moisture content in the room that you're installing this on. Grab your knife or cutter and take each individual planks out of its packaging. Lay your planks on the floor and make sure to allow for enough space in between. This can be done by placing spacers or cross-stacking your planks. Allow for this acclimation process for at least 24 to 48 hours. This step will also allow for you to inspect each plank and see if there's any minor defects or scratches. The next step is to install some sort of moisture barrier in between the planks and your subfloor. In my case, since I'm installing these planks on top of concrete, manufacturer instructions specified using a 6mm black poly. Use your knife and cut the length of your roll to a more manageable size. Continue laying the moisture barrier around the room. If your installation area requires 2 sheets, overlap the seams and tape it together. Extend the moisture barrier up the wall approximately 1 inch high and continue with the rest of the installation. If you're liking this video so far, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. Before starting the plank installation, let's quickly go over the types of cuts you're going to be doing, starting with a cross cut. Use a masking tape to protect your planks during the cutting procedure. Measure your desired length and use a speed square to mark the cutting line. Follow that up by either using a plank cutter or a jigsaw to create your cut. The second type of cut you're going to be doing during this installation is the long cut. Similar to the cross cuts, use a tape and mark the line for your desired width. I found that using a drywall square tool works best to create this mark. Again, use your jigsaw and cut through the line that you just marked. Discard the excess piece and continue on with the installation. The third type of cut you may encounter are the corner cuts. You may need these cuts in challenging areas such as door moldings, or as the name implies, around corners. The cutting procedure is similar to the other cuts we made. Use a tape, mark the lines, and use your jigsaw to complete the cut. Now let's go ahead and install the laminate flooring. When possible, begin the installation from the straightest wall and install the floor perpendicular to the floor joist. Allow for at least 5/16 of an inch space between the wall and the edge of your plank. To install the second row, start by angling the second plank to allow for the tongue to slip into the groove of the first plank. Maintain an inward pressure to make sure that the tongue and the groove of the planks are connected properly. Repeat these steps for the next row, making sure that you're not forcing the planks if it's not seated properly. You can adjust the plank by restarting or gently moving it up and down until it's properly seated. Grab another plank and connect it to the first plank in the starting row. Continue this process until the final plank for the row is needed. When cutting a plank used for completing a row, take your new plank and flip it before marking the cut line. Make sure to also allow for the proper 5/16 of an inch gap between the wall and the end of your plank. Make your desired cut and complete the row. To install the second row and all the other remaining rows, begin by angling the plank to allow for the tongue to slip into the groove. Join the planks by using a tapping block. Gently tap at the edge until the planks are joined properly. This will ensure a tight fit and a cleaner look. If you're liking this video so far, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. To install the last row of your laminate flooring, most often or not, the entire length of the last row will need to be cut so that it's narrow enough to fit the remaining space. Use a pull bar or a similar tool to draw the last row to fit tightly to the previous row, similar to what I'm doing here. Make sure you maintain the same distance between the wall and the cut edge of about 5/16 inches, similar to the installation of the rest of the room. Grab the rest of the planks that you made long cuts to and continue the last row installation. Now let's address the gaps at the end of the row. We're going to need to tighten this gap and ensure there's a proper space between the wall and the plank. Similar to the previous step, use a pull bar or a similar tool to close the gap between the two planks and complete the row installation. I use a tapping block here to allow for a little bit of a leverage while protecting the wall during this pull motion. Repeat these steps and complete all the rows around the room. Finally, let's install the baseboard, starting with measuring out the length you need, cutting down your baseboard, and nailing your baseboards to the wall. Don't forget to caulk the edges and the gaps for a cleaner look, and enjoy your brand new laminate flooring. And that's it for this week's episode of RENO Sundays. Let me know what you think of this DIY laminate flooring installation. If you found value in this video, please hit that like button, consider subscribing, and press that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our future videos. See you on the next one.